Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep into some really fascinating material you shared with us, looking at a moment that's, well, absolutely central to the story of Siddhartha Gautama.
Really foundational.
We are focusing today on the foresights, these pivotal encounters that fundamentally altered the path Siddhartha was on.
Completely changed his trajectory.
Our mission in this deep dive is to explore how these seemingly simple observations could have such a profound impact on a prince who, until that point, lived a life meticulously shielded from anything remotely unpleasant.
Yeah, your sources paint such a vivid picture of that early life, the luxury, the pleasure palaces.
Exactly. His father, King Siddhartha, went to extraordinary lengths, didn't he?
He really did, curating every experience to ensure Siddhartha only knew beauty, joy, this illusion of eternal youth.
So these sites were the absolute antithesis of that, like a sudden shock of cold reality, just shattering that carefully constructed world.
They truly planted what some call the seeds of discontent, a profound unease.
So, the story, according to your material, begins with Siddhartha finally venturing outside the palace walls. He's with his charioteer, Jana.
Right.
And his first encounter was, well, utterly jolting for him. He saw an old man.
And what's striking is the visceral nature of the shock described in the sources.
Yes. It wasn't just a concept he hadn't considered.
No, it was a living, breathing reality of advanced age right there. Frail, bent, wrinkled.
Missing teeth, white hair. I mean, for Siddhartha, who'd only ever seen youth and vitality.
It must have been incredibly confronting, almost unbelievable at first, perhaps.
And Channa's role here, as highlighted in your material, was crucial, wasn't it? He wasn't just driving the chariot.
No, not at all. Channa delivered the stark truth. He had to explain that this wasn't some anomaly.
Right.
This was the inevitable fate waiting for all human beings.
Including Siddhartha himself. That must have landed hard.
Absolutely. A direct, unavoidable confrontation with the impermanence of the physical body. Your sources say this sowed that first seed of deep introspection.
Made him question everything. The nature of life, those carefree pursuits.
Exactly.
Okay, so building on that initial shock, on another trip out, Siddhartha encountered something else completely alien to his experience. A sick person.
Yeah. If aging showed the inevitable decay over time, this second sight really hammered home the body's vulnerability.
Right. That suffering could strike at any moment.
He saw someone writhing in pain, emaciated, just utter physical and mental agony, completely outside his frame of reference.
It really underscores the limitations of that palace bubble, doesn't it?
Totally. You can build walls, but you can't escape the universal experience of illness.
So this brought physical pain, helplessness, right into sharp focus for him.
And again, it was Channa who confirmed it. Sickness, like old age, inescapable, part of the human condition.
Carving another deep furrow, as you said. Another seed of discontent planted. Highlighting that fragility beneath the surface.
Definitely. The unease is building.
Then came the third sight. And this one, maybe the most jarring. The ultimate confrontation.
The corpse.
He saw a corpse.
Yeah. And here, any lingering illusion of, continuous existence, eternal life, it just completely crumbled.
He witnessed a lifeless body being carried away. The actual cessation of life itself.
Your sources make it clear this was the end awaiting all beings. Didn't matter about status, wealth, beauty, none of it.
The sheer finality of it. The descriptions mention no more breath, no movement, no joy, no sorrow.
Just utter stillness. It must have been terrifying, deeply unsettling.
That's right. Your material really suggests this was the most potent seed. It shook the very foundations of his existence.
It forced him to confront ultimate impermanence, the cycle of birth and death, unavoidable.
And the realization that his own life, his family, his palace,
everything he knew,
would inevitably come to the same quiet final end. That's a profound shock.
A world-altering realization for him.
So, okay, he'd seen decay in old age, the pain of sickness, the finality of death. 3 profoundly disturbing sights.
Heavy stuff. Really heavy.
But then the fourth sight offered a stark contrast. A glimmer, maybe? A potential way forward.
Yes, the ascetic.
He saw an ascetic.
And this is where your sources introduce a completely different energy, a different possibility.
He saw this serene mendicant, someone radiating a profound sense of peace, inner calm.
Despite living this incredibly simple life, renunciation.
Which is so powerful because after witnessing all that pervasive suffering, age, sickness, death, here was someone seemingly untouched by it all.
And your material emphasizes this peace wasn't accidental, right? It wasn't ignorance.
No. The ascetic had consciously renounced worldly ties and pleasures.
Yes, that's the revelation. According to your sources, this showed a path. It wasn't about escaping suffering by hiding, like his father tried.
Right.
It was about liberation through confronting suffering, understanding its roots, and potentially transcending it.
Through inner discipline, renunciation.
Exactly. So this fourth encounter planted a different kind of seed, a seed of possibility.
It suggested that true fulfillment, maybe real happiness, wasn't in external things.
But maybe in an inner quest. It gave a potential direction to all that unease from the first three sites.
So looking at these four experiences together, your material makes it crystal clear they weren't just observations.
No, far from it.
They were transformative encounters. They deeply unsettled him, fundamentally shattering his perception of the world.
Ripped away the veil, as you said earlier. Exposed the fundamental truths his upbringing had denied.
Aging is inevitable.
Illness is always possible.
Death is certain. These became undeniable realities for him.
And crucially, that ascetic showed a potential way out. A path towards freedom from that cycle of suffering.
And the discontent that was sparked. It wasn't just him being unhappy with his luxury, was it?
No, not just boredom or dissatisfaction. It was deeper. A profound spiritual yearning.
A burning desire to find a lasting solution. And not just for himself.
Right, for all beings caught in this cycle. That universality is key.
Your sources use phrases like the undeniable call, maybe gentle nudges at first.
But becoming powerful shoves.
Yeah.
Propelling him towards seeking enlightenment.
They really mark the true beginning of his incredible path. The path to awakening.
Undeniably. The turning point.
The story of the four sites. It really demonstrates powerfully that gaining deep understanding, that kind of wisdom that resonates.
Yeah.
It often requires confronting uncomfortable truths, doesn't it?
Truths about existence that we might instinctively shy away from. It takes courage.
And it highlights that profound discontent, if you can channel it purposefully.
Towards understanding, towards finding solutions.
It can be the very catalyst for immense transformation, personal, maybe even universal.
It really can.
So, thinking about how encountering the stark reality of aging, sickness, and death sparks such a radical shift in Siddhartha, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What truths might you be encountering, or perhaps even avoiding, that could potentially illuminate your own path, your own purpose?
That's a powerful question to sit with.
We invite you to reflect on the sites you encounter in your own life.